Many people find the traditional path of healing to be a process of diminishing returns. You isolate a trauma, work to resolve a family pattern, and yet find yourself repeating the same emotional scripts in every new relationship. It is a linear, exhausting attempt to fix a mountain that is already crumbling. This exhaustion occurs because trying to metabolize every strand of your past keeps your awareness anchored in those very loops. A different approach involves shifting the nervous system's role from a recorder of history to an interface for new data. This is the premise of consciousness tunneling. Rather than fighting to repair an old timeline, you project your awareness into a new, emergent frequency grid. You are essentially choosing to bypass the dense terrain of the past by flowing into unclaimed space. To test this technique, find a quiet space where you can sit or lie down. The goal is to move from a state of forceful effort into one of complete receptivity. You are preparing to move with a flow rather than trying to direct it. This requires a deliberate withdrawal of energy from your past conflicts. You cannot host a new reality while your field is still functioning as the infrastructure for your old one. Abandoning the fight is the prerequisite for the tunnel to open. Think of the universal current as a directional stream of intelligence. In this framework, imagination isn't fantasy. It's a design process where potential is translated into a coherent structure before it ever reaches physical form. When you enter this current, your internal landscape will often appear as a dark, fertile pathway. This void isn't empty. It is the raw material of a timeline that hasn't been written yet. The jagged peaks to your sides represent the structures you've already built, the familiar struggles, family patterns, and ancestral scripts that have previously defined your identity. Instructional. Most people fail here by trying to engage with these mountains to fix them one last time. In tunneling, you do not climb, you simply pass between them, allowing the current to carry you into new terrain. By refusing to identify with these old structures, you render them irrelevant. You aren't destroying the past. You are simply moving your awareness to a place where those patterns no longer have the power to organize your experience. Step 1 is the settling of the physical body. As your breath slows, your nervous system shifts out of its reactive state, allowing the internal noise to flatten into a calm, motionless surface. For step 2, you align with the current by stating your intent to release personal force. You are trading the push of the ego for the pull of a more coherent flow. You will know this has worked when you feel a subtle forward or downward pull, a sensation of being carried by a river of intelligence rather than navigating on your own. In step 3, you move your focal point. Sense your awareness shifting out of your head and locking into a position about 1 to 2 feet in front of your forehead. This becomes your interface point with the current. Step 4 is perceiving the surrounding void from this new position. This space is fertile and unclaimed. It is a canvas that responds to the specific frequency you are holding. By placing your consciousness outside the body, you temporarily decouple your awareness from your biological memory. This unplugging allows you to receive a signal that isn't distorted by your past experiences.
In step 5, you look at the old karmic structures on the periphery and state, "I no longer build here." This sets a definitive boundary, ending the energetic subsidy you've been providing to your old problems. Step 6 is the tunneling itself. Shift your sense of I into the movement. Allow yourself to be carried forward as a flow of intelligence rather than a solid object moving through space. Cautionary: if you find yourself imagining physical walking, you are reintroducing your historical self. Stop. Release the effort and let the current choose the direction. For step 7, you authorize the creation process. Use these specific phrases. I choose to create on new fertile ground. I authorize coherence. You are claiming the space before you define the details. It is vital that you do not visualize specific objects or material goals yet. At this stage, introducing wants creates a jagged signal. Your only task is to stabilize your alignment with the current. In step 8, notice how the ground responds. You may feel a deep sense of stability or see a quiet grid begin to form. This is the moment a new timeline synchronizes with your field. This sequence effectively withdraws your energy from collapsing patterns and redirects it into a stable structure. You are no longer managing a crisis. You are providing the frequency for a new reality to take root. Eventually, this stops being an exercise you enter and exit. You move from being a temporary conduit, as shown here, to a self-sustaining crystalline node. This shift occurs when tunneling becomes your native orientation. You no longer feel like you are moving through a current. You recognize that your awareness is a localized expression of that current. This has a mechanical effect on your surroundings. As your internal signal becomes more precise, your field naturally reorganizes environmental noise. You might find that chaotic situations or difficult personalities simply lose their momentum when you are present. This is effortless structuring. When your internal field no longer introduces distortion into the signal, the delay between a coherent thought and its manifestation begins to shrink. You aren't making things happen, you are allowing them to form without interruption. At this level, reality organizes around you because your internal coherence has reached a self-sustaining threshold. Your presence alone becomes a corrective force in any environment you enter. The tunneling process is complete when you can hold this focus while fully awake. You have anchored a frequency grid that is independent of your history. This changes where you source your identity. Instead of generating your sense of self from the gravitational memory of your past struggles, you are generating it from your current state of alignment. As the distortion of old patterns is removed, the perceived distance between your intention and the result begins to collapse. There is no delay in a true signal, only a delay caused by internal conflict. Your daily protocol is simply to trust this state. You do not need to hold on to the current with force. A coherent field naturally corrects incoherence in its vicinity simply by existing. When you stabilize this state, you stop looking for a way out of the old world. You have become a localized node of coherence, a stable anchor upon which a different type of experience can be built.